You are watching the Vodka stream.
Oh, what's happening? What's happening, guys? Welcome to a Saturday edition. Saturday edition Vodka stream. Sorry, I was reading a message right there. How's it going? Hey, we got the Peacemaker Comic-Con panel that's happening right now. So, I don't expect anything too crazy to happen, but I thought, you know what? It's been a little bit since I've done one where I open it up to anybody who supports the channel when it comes to either being a member of the channel or the Patreon. So if you guys want to, if any of you guys that, do any of that, support the channel, by all means, I'm going to send the link like right now. Or did I already send the link? I did already send the link. So the link is sent. So if you guys want to join, you don't have to. It's fine. You don't even have to have your camera on, as long as you have good audio. So yeah, if you guys want to join, by all means, go ahead. I know, I talked about it last night. I talked about it during the week. So, I know it feels like it's a little short notice, but hey, I think it'll be all right. But like I said, we're going to be talking about this right here. But yeah, it's all happening right now. Of course, they did the introductions. Things are slowly coming in when it comes to the Peacemaker. Again, I don't expect a lot to happen, but we got some things. We definitely have some things. We're probably going to get a trailer. A new trailer just debuted. So we'll go ahead and live watch that new trailer. And then we're going to get some more details when it comes to Peacemaker Season 2 that have already been coming out right now. So let's talk about that. But hey, you guys can ask some questions and everything. Saturday version of the Vodka stream. So I got some vodka right here. A shot of vodka. Hey, good Lord. And then I'm just going to have some wine. Because I drank like my vodka drinks. I just wanted one vodka tonight. And then I'm just going to sip on some Pinot Grigio, take it a little easy tonight. That's all. So, but yeah, like I said, if you're a member or you start subscribe to the Patreon, and you want to join, by all means, join. By all means, join if you want to. Like I said, I was talking about doing one of these that I'll try to, keep it going for a bit. Let's see. All right, let's go ahead. So the links are sent on both members and Patreon if you want to do that. So, hey, who's out there? We got Monique. What's happening? Hope you have a splendid Saturday. I'll actually show you guys. I'll talk about a certain thing here when it comes to what I did today, which I met up with somebody. I think I talked about it last night on the last night's Vodka stream. Let's see. Let's see. We go up. There we go. Let's send that to the computer. Yes, that. Oh, shit. Okay. Technology. Come on. Send that. Let's see. Oh, crap. I updated my browser and now it's not working. Fantastic. Let's see. Never mind. It's not going to work. Stupid thing. Technology. I tell you, it's supposed to be better. It's supposed to be better than this. Why do I sound like Mark Wahlberg? I don't know. Yeah. Fuck. Why is that not working? Stupid. Anyways. So I basically met up with Phil. Obviously, I talked about it last night. Phil wasn't on the Vodka stream last night because he's actually down here. He lives in Northern California. I live in Southern California. So he was down here. So we met up for lunch. And I was going to show you the picture that we had. But I'm like, I updated my goddamn browser. And now I'm missing my little push bullet thing and I'm like, wow, of course that happened. Let's see. Hold on. Extensions. Where are you at? Okay. No, turn it on. Why is that? Okay. So I updated my browser and now all of a sudden that doesn't work. That's fun. Okay. Hold on a sec. But yeah, I saw Phil today, Mr. Phil Bark, obviously unfiltered. We met up today and had some lunch and then we went to the comic book shop. Because there was like a comic book shop like in the town that we met up with. So I got a couple of things. I finally Finally gonna freaking give this goddamn thing a read. Obviously, I got the All-Star Superman. I know I'm very late on that. I'm very late on getting All-Star Superman. I know. But then I also forgot that this came out. Oh, yes. Totally getting Batman Resurrection. So looking forward to cracking this thing open and seeing like the sequel for Batman 89. Batman 89. So this is takes place in between Batman Returns and Batman 89. So those are the two things I got from the comic book shop today. Finally going to read All-Star Superman. And then, of course, over time, I'm going to be reading Batman Resurrection, which interesting title. Get out of here, bag. Yeah, so interesting title. Anyways, eat peace, motherfucker. Yeah, I like it. All right. Arkham Knight 99. How you doing? What's up? Good to see you, Brendan. All right. And then, of course, we got, I was late. I was a little late, but because after I left Phil, I made another stop and then I came home and so I was a little bit late when it came to this. Mr. Balga, good to see you, my friend. 2 Vodka streams in less than 24 hours. Dave does this for us, the people. That's right. I do it for the people. And in true fashion, I'm wearing a Daredevil shirt, which is kind of funny. I don't have a Peacemaker shirt. I should get a Peacemaker shirt one of these days, right? A true friend of the community, SDCC Hall H. Let's go, Jimmy Guns. Give us some sweet. I know. Hopefully. And then, of course, yes, thank you, Chris. You're the one that, you have this shirt too, and you sent over the link to me. So yeah, Ray's probably not going to join. I asked if he wanted to join last night. And he said he had some things to do today. So, like I said, it's going to be open to anybody who wants to join, who's part of the member, being a member of the channel and, of course, the Patreon. So, and, we'll get some people in here. Hey, Dave, what up? I'm going to watch Superman movie and F4 movie. And today is, good. Watch it all. Good to see you. Good to see you too, Mr. Chris Dell. All right. Already said that. A date? Yeah, I had a date with Phil. Peacemaker, what a joke. Yeah, exactly. What's going on, Taladia Plays? There you go. Yeah, and Phil right now is he's about to watch Fantastic Four. We had a nice conversation about Fantastic Four. We should have recorded it, right, Phil? No, but yeah. So drink in peace. I love it. But yeah, we had lunch and we talked Fantastic Four, we talked Superman, we talked all kinds of things at lunch, and then we walked through the town that I grew up in. And then we went to the comic book shop and got some books. What's going on, Stephanie? Good to see you. Yeah, the trailer came out, so we're gonna watch the trailer. We're gonna go watch the trailer. Is everything mid to you, Jose? You know what's mid? Your Dodgers. I'm just kidding. If I say your Dodgers are mid, that means Giants are low. You're in for a treat. With both books. Yeah, I know. I definitely am. I was like, I totally forgot because I searched for All-Star Superman at the comic book shop in the new town that I live in. They didn't have it. And then I just kind of, I didn't want to order it online. I don't know. I'm one of those. I'm like, let me go to a comic book shop and get the book. Let me support local comic book shops. So since I, met Phil over there in my hometown, they have like a really, pretty legit comic book shop. And I said, I was like, hey, let's go over there. And he got a book too. So I was like, when I got that, I was like, okay, I'm going to get All-Star Superman, thankfully. And then I was like, oh shit, I totally forgot about Batman Resurrection. And I love the fact that it's a novel because I've been wanting to just, start reading novels again, sit in my chair, maybe put on some music, sip some wine and just read a novel. I haven't done that in a while. Anyways, Caleb, what's happening? I've read a bit of good stuff. Good. Let's see. Hey, Phil, saw Fantastic Four First Steps. Freaking loved it. Galactus and all that stuff. Well, you are having more fun than I am. Just making dinner. What are you making, Monique? You got to tell me. You got to say it. You got to say it. What's going on, Sergeant? Good to see you. I don't know if Scott's going to join either. Like I said, I mean, if any of those guys hit me up, sure. Giants made me lose my parlay yesterday. Not my fault. We're being given just all right. Oh, man. Jose expects top tier, golden god tier CBM Cinema. So, but anyways, cheers, guys. All right, let's bring on the first person here that is joining. Mr. Taladia Plays. What's happening, man?
Hey, how you doing, Dave? Hi, everyone.
I'm doing pretty good. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking.
Yeah. How's your Saturday treating you right now?
Well, it's been a good Saturday. I went to the cinema, theaters you guys call it in America. Went to see Fantastic.
I actually wish that in America we called it the cinema, as opposed to the theater. But I'm so used to the theater. I wish we call it the cinema, though. I actually envy that. I wish I could. I'm gonna try to start that a little bit more. You
should come over here to the UK.
Yes, I do want to. Eventually, I want to travel and go to the UK. I've only been to Mexico, and so that's when it comes to me leaving the States. But yeah, eventually, I want to get over to the UK for sure. So, but so what'd you see today?
So I went to see Fantastic Four for the first time.
Ah, okay. What'd you think?
And I really enjoyed it.
Okay.
For like, it's the third iteration of Fantastic Four, and this is the first time I.
Well, technically, it's the fourth. Technically, if you count the 1990 version that came out, so you had that, and then of course you had the 2000s version, and then Fan Four Stick, which so technically it's the fourth, but nobody really counts that 90s version because it was so ridiculous. But yeah. So what'd you full on think of it?
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was slow at the beginning, but
that's what I thought.
And then it started to pick up its pace, and I think Galactus was a really good villain, and it was a very good.
I was worried. I was worried that it was that I was like, how do you handle Galactus? And I was going, are they going to make it work? And they made it work big time for sure.
Yeah.
So no, I was very pleased by what they did with Galactus. But yeah, I was in the same boat as you when it came to, the opening's a little slow, a little sluggish. I know they have to, show everybody, hey, here's the gang, here's where they are, here's all that. And I was just kind of going, okay. But then as soon as Silver Surfer showed up, I was like, all right, now we're here. Now we're in the thick of it, and everything started picking up. And that scene, we'll talk more about it after we talk what's going on the panel right now. But yeah, that scene in space was just pretty awesome, pretty crazy. Great sci-fi for sure. But so we'll talk more about it, and some more people will be joining as well. So Comic-Con, is there anything at Comic-Con right now that you that are today, yesterday, that you've seen that
I saw the Peacemaker, like, been looking at the Peacemaker panel on social media about that, and then yesterday I saw about, I think it was Master of the Universe or something. I saw there was some. I'm really interested in that.
Yeah, there was like a display that had a poster and the sword, right? Or did they have a
pen?
It was just display, right?
It was just a display thing.
Yeah, I saw that. That was pretty cool. But I'm like, when is that first trailer going to show up? They're just teasing that thing for sure. They're teasing Masters of the Universe, and I'm like wondering, okay, so let's get some details here of what they're talking about on Peacemaker. So let's see. So obviously standing ovations. We have this right here. Let's see. I'm just going to start bringing up some things as we go along here. Share. So here's they gave James Gunn a standing ovation. So that's one thing. Superman. And then, of course, his wife's there, too. So we had that. That was like the start of it right there. Of course, John Cena is in full Peacemaker costume, as we could see. Yeah, you knew John Cena was going to obviously just be like, all right.
Yeah, John Cena was going to be there in any shape or form.
Oh, yeah.
Because he wasn't at wrestling. He wasn't at SmackDown last night. So.
Oh, was he? God damn, dude's busy.
No, he wasn't at.
He wasn't there. Oh, okay.
Yeah, he wasn't on SmackDown. So.
Yeah. He's in San Diego right now.
Yeah.
So obviously, the whole crew is there too. It's not just them three. There's the whole. Let's see. Looking at my feed right here, and yeah, we got all kinds of stuff. Let's see. Yeah, some reviews, more stuff. A lot of Peacemaker stuff. Apparently, according to Frank Grillo, he didn't want to dance. Apparently, he's dancing in the opening of Peacemaker. You know how they have the dancing? Yeah. So, like, apparently he said, like, I was really against it because I'm a serious actor. I'm like, Frank. Serious actor. I literally watched a movie last weekend on, I think it was Hulu. It was very B-roll action movie. I'm like, yeah, serious actor. Come on, man. Let's not take it too seriously.
I've seen a film with him called something called The Boss Level or something. Where
Boss Level was good.
Yeah, I've seen something.
But it was goofy. Yeah,
it
was a little goofy, but it's just kind of funny how he's. He says, I'm a serious actor. I was like, dude, I don't know. Some of the movies you've been in, not so serious. John Cena says, James Gunn hates the you can't see me jokes. So James Gunn, who loves jokes, he hates the John Cena you can't see me jokes, apparently. I don't know if that's true or not, but apparently John Cena said that during the panel. That's pretty funny because everybody always talks about that. But yeah, they talk about, so James Gunn getting a standing ovation, praise for Superman, which is good. Let's see. And yeah, we'll watch the trailer in a little bit here. Trying to look at, the opening dance sequence in Peacemaker Season 2 is bigger with new characters and different song. It isn't trying to one-up the first season. So, yeah, so it's not trying to...
We'll have to wait and see what that looks like.
Yep.
I know there's gonna be comparisons, and I can tell you straight up off the bat. I know a lot of haters are gonna be like,
"Of course, There's people that just don't like Peacemaker." And when it comes to Peacemaker Season 2, it takes place 1 month after the events in Superman. So we're picking up pretty quickly after Superman. Which, I suspected it wasn't going to be too long after Superman. So that's pretty sweet. And let's see what else we got. Looks like it looks like people are just mainly talking about, holy shit, what the hell is that? Whoa, okay, we got to watch this trailer because there is something crazy in here. All right, let's go ahead and watch the trailer because it got released. Let's go ahead and we'll do like a little reaction right here. And so we got James Gunn introducing the trailer, of course.
You've all been waiting a long time for this one. Here's the new trailer of Peacemaker Season 2. Enjoy.
We doing it up in style.
Hey guys, I got beer. On.
Duh.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Just hand it to him.
I'll just hand it to him.
Yeah.
I've changed a lot since I last saw you.
Of course, he has an Ozzy song, which is, fitting.
I want to be a real hero.
You wear a clown costume and go out and beat up people. Chris, take something bad and make something good out of it.
I need to find the Peacemaker. He killed my son.
Yep. It's Rick Flag Jr.
You're being monitored right now.
By who?
Rick Flag Sr.
Whoa.
What is it?
Pocket Universe.
And it leads to a parallel world.
What?
It's not that big a deal.
Get the f out, it's not.
My son is a better man you could ever dream of being.
I've tried to make up for my mistakes, but I'm not sure redemption is possible.
He's in love with you. Me and Chris, it's never going to be a thing.
I'm going to make a life in the other world.
And his whitey tighties, of course.
There's another dimension. It's exactly the same as ours.
But better. Best dimension ever.
Dude, that's sick.
We need to close that dimensional rift.
What the hell is that? Whoa.
The condoms are partnering you up with our new agent, Rip Jagger.
Who's Rip Jagger?
Hey, fatty. No matter how green the grass is over there, you belong here with us. We're gonna get Chris back. You met not your own self from a parallel dimension? You're wearing his clothes.
You think I bought this? That's painful.
Hi, Mom. We're going to my secret room. You're not allowed to follow.
You must be John.
Uh-huh.
Jesus.
You're not that dorky.
Shut up, Mom.
All right. Looks like a good time, right?
Yeah, it does look like a fun time.
It definitely looks like a fun time. I mean, but this right here, that's what I was seeing on my timeline. Was this right here? Of like, what the hell kind of pocket universe is this?
Yeah, I was like, what?
like, my God, that is insane looking right there. We've got like skeleton spidery things going on right here. I mean, this would make Zack Snyder go, what? Nope, that's a little too far right there. No idea what kind of pocket universe that is, but man.
Maybe it's the what's it called? Nicolas Cage Superman universe.
Could be something. I know. I'm kind of wondering, like, what would they incorporate when it comes to because I mean, James Gunn has said himself that the DCU is like, it's not reality. It's not our reality. It's like an alternate reality. And I'm like, okay, so are you going to play on the fact that there is alternate realities and other realities? Because I mean, he did say he really loved the Flash. I don't know if he was just selling it or really like some of the concepts of the multiverse that he wants to like play with. I think I would not be surprised if James Gunn does play with a little bit of the multiverse a little bit, where for previous movies and characters. I hope he does, to be honest. Let's see what else we have here. It's standing. Everybody's talking about the standing ovation. Let's see, how are you feeling about that? Let's see what people are saying in the chat. Jennifer Holland looks extra nice in the trailer. Well, yeah, if she's in an alternate reality, that's alternate reality Harcourt right there. So she probably looks a lot nicer. Yeah, I don't think there's gonna be a Supergirl trailer. No, that's not gonna be happening.
No.
Yeah, it'd be nice if there was something else that happened. I have no emotions towards Peacemaker because I never heard of the character until it showed up in Suicide Squad. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Good choice of song. Yeah, I know. Like I said, representing some Aussie right there. So pretty perfect. Pretty perfect when it comes to that. May he rest in peace, the Prince of Darkness. One of those doors. Yeah, I agree with that. Something out of the Doom franchise. I know, seriously. That's what it feels like right there. Yeah. Or like something out of Mortal Kombat. My God. So I take the parallel universe thing will be how, yeah, of course, that's how they explain it right there, for sure. Is that Superman on the top left image? Huh? Oh, you're talking about like in that one image of that weird universe? Could be. It could it be a rot? Well, I think he meant rot. The rot? I don't know what that is.
Yeah, he said.
It's from Swamp Thing and Animal Man. Oh, okay. Maybe. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised because James Gunn does those deep cuts. I think season 2 will be playing with the multiverse. I think a little bit. Yeah. Definitely a little bit. I'm looking forward to it. But what part of the trailer got a standing O? Not the trailer. The trailer didn't get a standing O. James Gunn got a standing O because John Cena started it by, congratulating him on Superman. So that's what happened. Let's see. Sasha Burbeau, a former secret agent, was Lucius Fox's second in command, then becomes an OMAC cyborg. So I just read that right now. I don't know why. I mean, she's in the series, so that's pretty cool. Let's see what else we have. If there's anything, like I said, I don't expect there to be too much when it comes to this right here.
I think it'll be just closely for Peacemaker. I don't think it'll be anything else.
Yeah, I mean, if we learned anything from CCXP, when everybody's like, "Oh, what are they going to talk about?" It was just strictly Peacemaker. But we have a video right here of Jennifer Holland talking about doing stunt.
It's just the memory of that. And honestly, I don't know what to say other than that. When I finished filming that, the most rewarding experience for me was the entire group of stunt men and women that I work with in that sequence came up and they shook my hand and they said, "You are the best actress we've ever worked with. We're so proud to be a part of this incredible," and I was just like, "You guys, I feel like I'm being welcomed into a group that's just, I didn't get to be a part of. It was really amazing."
She's excited. Man, she has more ripped arms than her husband. Nothing against James Gunn, but she's got some guns on her. She definitely does. Okay, and then we got another video.
Did you see the Peacemaker panel Peacemaker podcast by any chance? Or no?
I haven't watched it yet. I'm going to watch it. I don't know. I'll watch it definitely this week, but I have not watched it. Did you watch it?
Yeah, I did.
How was it?
It was very interesting to see James Gunn explaining things.
Yeah. I mean, he's got a lot of explaining that's happening. And then we got this video right here too. Oop, wrong thing. This video right here of James Gunn when he got introduced to the panel.
James, should you do the honors? You want to introduce him?
Oh, he's going to introduce John.
Ladies and gentlemen, my friend, Peacemaker himself, Mr. John Cena.
There's the introduction.
He stole the costume again. All right. Hello. Can we say that James?
He's not as animated as he was in CCXP, at least. Not jumping all over the stage. So at least there's that. But yeah. Let's see what else we got. Is there anything else that's coming out? James Gunn says Peacemaker Season 2 soundtrack might be his favorite soundtrack out of all his projects. A fan shouted out Ozzy being in the trailer. James says he is also featured in the upcoming season. So that's cool. So we're going to get some Ozzy, of course, in there as we heard. Let's see what else. Is there anything? Yeah, I don't think there's going to be too much when it comes to this for sure. But let's see. What are people saying in the chat? All right. People are saying hi to both of us. Good to see you there, Keyblade. All right. I'm really looking forward to it. But oh, yeah, I already read that right there. Cena didn't even come out with a WWE championship. See, I don't know wrestling. So,
yeah, he's not going to bring it out. He's not going to bring it out, guys. He's kept that in the case for purpose, for a reason, just in case Cody Rhodes decides to come and jump him on stage.
Yeah.
Just imagine.
Okay. So I was into wrestling when, in the 90s when I was a kid, but I never got back into it when it comes to all this stuff. So I have no idea. So I'm glad you're here to talk about those certain comments. I would love to see the whole cast turn up in costume. Yeah, I mean that would have been kind of cool. But I mean, John Cena, he's just that's who he is. He showed up to the Suicide Squad premiere in the fucking Peacemaker costume for God's sakes. So yeah, what's that?
He was at the Happy Gilmore premiere as well.
That's right. I still haven't watched that yet. Did you watch Happy Gilmore too? Yeah.
Not yet. I haven't had the chance. No.
Yeah, I haven't had the chance either. I'll probably watch it tomorrow. Is wondering if there will be any Rick Derringer, Sly, The Family Stone, and are you talking about songs in the soundtrack? Maybe. Who knows? Apparently, though, that he said that this is his favorite soundtrack, so that's cool. All right, so let's see. Is there anything more? I'm just wondering if there's going to be any surprises, but I don't imagine there's going to be any kind of surprises. Let's see the cast. This cast is fun and full of energy. The season looks great, and James Gunn teases just how much more vulgar and violent it'll be. Definitely not for kids. Yeah, I think we can all agree with that. Let's see. Oh, yeah, he talked about Ozzy Osbourne. Yeah. What is that? That is something else. James Gunn Peacemaker Season 2 is his favorite soundtrack. We already talked about that. That's cool. But yeah, I don't know if there's going to be anything more when it comes to that. So And we'll see when it. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, somebody did send me this. Oh, okay, yeah. So check this out. Somebody pointed this out to me right here. So this is that weird universe that we were just talking about,
Yeah.
right? Well, do you remember this? So it could be something with that. So there could be a connection to Creature Commandos, and that whole little nightmare sequence or whatever the hell. So yeah, that could be what's happening right here. That could be part of that because we have these little, stakes or these little sticks or whatever the hell you want to call them, sticks or whatever the hell. So thank you, Edward, who sent that to me right there. I'm like, oh, okay. Very interesting. So that definitely looks like it could be the same thing right there. But creepy. Oof. So cool. I like that. Thank you, Edward Arnett, for sending me that right now on Twitter. So yeah, could be something like that. That Hellscape is the Jimmy Olsen spinoff. How are you feeling about the Jimmy Olsen supposed spinoff series where it's going to be like a crime anthology where he basically talks to different villains in the DCU?
I think that's going to be really interesting because I know like Jimmy Olsen has never had his own show before.
Yeah.
So for first time, I think it'd be good for the actor, it'd be good for the IP itself, and to get the Superman IP even more boosted up. Let's say and people will go and see Superman, and then will jump to this then. And I really think that when it comes down to them looking at certain villains and Jimmy also going to search these characters out, it'd be really interesting to see who he brings along with him. Is he going to bring Cat Grant? Is he going to bring?
I hope so.
There's so many.
Yeah, I really hope that there's going to be some other Daily Planet people in there. And at first when I was like, Jimmy Olsen spinoff series, I went, really? We're going to have that? But then I went, well, then when I heard the concept that it was going to bring in villains from the universe, I went, well, okay, I can get around that. That sounds like a really cool concept. But I do hope that there are other, and I'm pretty sure there's going to be, some of the Daily Planet crew that show up in there. Like, yeah, maybe a Cat Grant will show up. Maybe Lombard will show up, Lois, even Clark would show up too. I don't know. It's going to be interesting how they play with that right there. But right now we're bringing in Caleb Baxter.
Hey.
What's happening?
Nothing much. Having a great day. I'm enjoying the stream so far. I'm really looking forward to Peacemaker season 2.
Did you watch the trailer?
Yeah, I did. I got to see it with you guys for the first time, so that was like awesome. I'm excited to see them exploring the whole multiverse. I hope that happens. I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, seriously, it's going to be something very
crazy.
So right here says Peacemaker season 2 establishes that there are at least 100 universes in the DCU. So that's the thing. It's like when people are like talking about, I mean, maybe that's why James Gunn was really, so excited for The Flash in a way, because of the idea of all the multiverses that you can play with and bring some characters back for, some cool little moments, I guess you could say. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Maybe there's so many possibilities when it comes to this. And again, like, with a lot of us being Snyderverse fans, I mean, it does not eliminate the possibility of something happening, where one of those actors comes back in some kind of form or fashion, which could be, a lot of fun to play with. So we'll see. But thank you for joining, Caleb. Where are you coming from? Where are you joining from?
Oh, of course, I'm joining from Canada. So
you're in Canada.
Yeah.
Nice.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Yeah. What part of Canada? Are you more east? West?
So I'm South Canada. I'm near Niagara Falls, closer to Niagara Falls area. So
Okay, so
For
yeah,
sure.
I think so. Your time zone is probably more Central or Eastern time zone.
Eastern time zone.
Okay,
Yeah.
I wasn't. Yeah, because I know like Niagara Falls is kind of like it borders like one of. Doesn't it border like I don't know what it borders? Borders like something. New York, I guess, or
Yeah, it's called
Yeah.
like Niagara Falls, New York on your side.
Yeah, that's right. So
of
Eastern.
America. So now it's
Cool.
cool.
Well, thank you for joining, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thank
it.
you for having me on.
Yeah, for sure.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure, man. Thank you for joining. Let's see. Oh, we lost him.
We lost him.
Yeah. Well, he was on his phone, it looked like. So well, he'll join back up. You know, it happens, because they're not professionals like us, man.
Yeah.
Better setup in our microphones. Well, no, I'm making fun. That's all. Okay, so we got another little video right here. Okay, from Deadline. They just posted this video from the panel, talking a little bit more about things. Let's see.
I can make Nathan have to put up that stupid haircut.
Talking about Nathan Fillion, of course.
He's here this weekend. I'm not going to see him tonight, but they're in it, and Isabella's just such a joy to be around. And, maybe there's a couple other people wandering around these halls that are in Superman, but are also in Peacemaker Season 2.
What? Teasing. Teasing. Yeah, we're gonna get some of the.
I have a funny feeling it might be. I think I know who you might be talking about.
Who?
Eve Tessmacher.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be. I mean, I would not, and then even going back to the Daily Planet crew, I would not be surprised if they, some of them even show up. I wouldn't be surprised if Jimmy Olsen shows up or, any of those guys. But anyways, Caleb, I know you're in the chat. I don't know what happened. I don't know if you want to join back up or whatever the hell, but, we lost you right there. But if you want to join back up for sure. But yeah, I would not be surprised if part of the Daily Planet crew or, or if Eve shows up, she might. Hell, I have a feeling that Corn Sweat, Superman, is going to show up in some form or fashion because so we had that scene, on TV with, the talk show, The Circle, and we had Peacemaker, obviously, on the screen. I just wouldn't be surprised if they do something like that with Superman. Maybe not exactly that, because why would Superman sit down to a talk show? But I just wouldn't be surprised if there's like a screen where Superman is saying something, So I'm just like, they were filming at the same time on the same studio grounds, and then and they were like right next to each other. So you can't tell me that there's not going to be some more crossover, obviously. But I'm like, of course, Corn Sweat would be down to shoot something for Peacemaker. So I just have a feeling that we're going to see something on a TV screen with Superman, not the talk show thing, even though the talk show bit would be kind of funny, but I don't think Superman would sit down on a talk show. And then again, who knows? This is James Gunn's DCU. So could very well happen, but I'm just thinking that there is going to be something on a TV screen. Maybe he will show up in front of Peacemaker at one point because, James Gunn did want to incorporate the Justice League when it came to season 1, and he could only get 2 of the Justice League players, sadly, and then the others were shadow figures or they were removed completely, which is weird. But, now he has all the toys to play with, now he has all the toys to play with. So I think definitely Superman does show up in Peacemaker season 2.
And it's going to be really interesting to see how much of, how much does Peacemaker season 2 will be affected by the Superman, the story of Superman. And when that movie came out, how much of it does reflect on Peacemaker? Like, what does, we know that John Cena, did his thing in between filming. I just wondered for the character, what does this mean for Peacemaker himself? Like, are they going to kill him off or delete him? Sorry, I should say, delete him, or are they going to simultaneously have him on another universe where the new one comes over to this universe? So that
No,
That's
it's
really
good questions to have. It's definitely good questions to have. So,
Mm.
but yeah, it's going to be interesting where Peacemaker goes. I don't know if like he's intending on having another season of it. Maybe, who knows? I don't know if the character is popular enough. Possibly. It even says right here, Michael Rooker's Peacemaker villain, Red Saint Wild, will act as Eagly's Lex Luthor. Yeah, because we heard that Michael Rooker's character in Peacemaker, which everybody was going, is he, who is he? Is he Master Chief? Is he, this, that, or this? But, his character is Red Saint. I think, yeah, Red Saint Wild, who is after Eagly. So there's a subplot that is going for, that he's trying to hunt Eagly. I don't know. You remember seeing that image of him with the big musket, the big gun? So that's a subplot. But yeah, apparently like they talked about how apparently he's like the Lex Luthor to Eagly. so funny. So interesting. But yeah, so I was just reading that right there. Justice Gang included in season 2. Gunn teases new characters. Yeah, we just talked about that. We saw that video. So I don't know. There's going to be a lot of interesting things. They're really, I think, like with people having fun with Superman and enjoying Superman, they're probably going to flock to HBO Max and be like, okay, well, I'm going to watch season 1 and then watch season 2. I don't know if it's going to be their bag. Obviously, it's a very different vibe, but let's see. It's still amazing how the new DCU Superman reboot has a character who is oh yeah. So yeah, somebody's just talking about that. But as we're getting stuff in, what were your overall thoughts of Superman?
I really enjoyed it. I got the light up cup as well.
Yeah, you got the cup. Look at you.
Yeah, I got the cup and the popcorn bucket. Not the one, but the other one, the small dollar one. But I loved it. I took my elder brother. He thought it was going to be like Superman 2. And I said, no, it's nothing like Superman 2.
Yeah.
Because he's an 80s kid. So I was just like, I said, nah, it's not going to be like that. Trust me. So we went to see it. After the movie, we both came out the film. We loved it. We wanted to go and see it again. And
nice.
Unfortunately, because time consuming and whatnot, we weren't able to. So, but still, he loved it. I loved it. We both gave it a 9. And funnily enough, when I tweeted that out, Warner Brothers UK liked my tweet.
Oh, nice. That's pretty sweet.
Which is so random.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, I just put the hashtag Superman. That was it. Because I wanted
all you need to do sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah. I just genuinely gave my honest thoughts. It was like brilliant. And there was my audience was laughing. That was the cool thing. My audience, there was not many kids there. It was those of us was laughing and giggling and during the movie, and we all had a fun time. We stayed for the post-credit scene, by the way, as well. So we stayed for the post-credit and the after-credit.
Yeah.
But people told me that don't leave the stream, don't leave your seats because there's something cool gonna happen. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it wasn't quite like how it is in Marvel Studios. It didn't really lead into anything else, but I get what, James Gunn was just showing, hey, here's something a little bit fun, Yeah. You didn't want to, obviously when it came to Supergirl showing up at the end, that was the initial, hey, the next movie coming out next year is her. She's coming for the dog. The dog's also going to be in that one too. So it wasn't one of those things where, and I know James Gunn is trying his best not to emulate Marvel, even though he worked for Marvel, but he doesn't want to do like that, the similar thing. So when it came to post credits or mid credits, he's like, just do some fun little things. And I know some people are like, oh, yeah, what the hell? I'm like, but at the same time, I'm going, it's something different. It's fine. But, yeah.
I mean, here's the funny thing. David S. Goyer, the writer of Man of Steel, loved Superman.
Oh, yeah, he said that, yeah.
Yeah, and he said because of the character Mr. Terrific and Metamorpho getting screen time for the first time ever, that's why he felt like it was really special to him. So
yeah, I like what he had to say because he said like every generation has their Superman. And now this is this generation Superman. I mean, obviously there's the whole discourse, when it comes to everything. And, as much as we wanted Henry to play Superman and be in multiple Superman movies, it's just not happening. I mean, he might come back though. Like I said, they establish 100 universes with here, but so you never know. And I would not be surprised if, like, at one point there could be something where Henry Cavill Superman just ends up, coming back.
There could be a kingdom. There could be a Kingdom Come.
Exactly.
Superman.
They could do so many things with that. And I'm wondering, when Gunn met up with Henry Cavill to, obviously that, after the whole debacle of him being announced that he's returning, but then had to announce that he's not returning, I'm wondering, like, okay, well, what conversations did they have when it came to maybe the possibility of his Superman showing back up? I wouldn't be surprised if that's, that could be something on the table that he actually put out there. It was like, hey, I mean, you never know what could happen too. Like, you could return as Superman. I would love you to play another character, sure. But at the same time, if we do some crazy multiverse thing where you do show back up, I mean, that would be a crazy, crowd cheering moment. We love that kind of stuff. Like what happened with Spider-Man No Way Home, bringing back, Garfield and Toby. Toby almost said Emmerich. Oh my God. Almost said Toby Emmerich. McGuire. Sorry. I was like, whoa, shit. When I heard Toby, my brain went Emmerich. No, that's not right. That's not right at all. So yeah.
They could do a Crisis on Infinite Earth situation,
exactly,
where multiple Superman can come back. So
exactly. So there could also, be something like that too. And wouldn't be surprised if Gunn was kind of thinking of, even something like that. Welcome back, Caleb.
Hello. I just joined on my laptop just so.
Yeah, probably easier to do like that,
Because I don't know if my mic was sounding off because I was using my phone. I think it was.
Yeah, I mean, it was sounding fine, but but this is much better.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Yeah.
But we were just talking about the possibilities of Henry Cavill even coming back as Superman. The fact that they basically established that there are like 100 universes in these pocket universes. So they're, it's definitely leaving a door open, literally, because there's doorways and stuff. The fact that he could, essentially come back in some, form. And I was just kind of wondering, like, when James Gunn and Peter Safran had that meeting with Cavill to basically say, hey, sorry, you're not going to be Superman because we're doing this now. Sorry that they misled you. But maybe there was a conversation where it's like, well, you never know. You could come back in some form, because we're doing some crazy shit when it comes to multiverse. I don't know.
No, that's exciting.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I know James Gunn said, I think I heard that he was going to offer Henry Cavill a role possibly in the DCU. I don't know absolutely what character he could play out, but that'd be cool.
I always say Vandal Savage. I think he would be a great Vandal Savage. Incredible. He has the look already. And I think, if you're going to bring Henry Cavill back, who was Superman prior, make him a bad guy, because he was like the ultimate good guy of that universe. So if you're going to bring him back, make him the ultimate bad guy. And I think like the look that he has, if he, has the beard, the slick back black hair and everything like that, he totally looks like a Vandal Savage. And so I've always been like going, yeah, if you're going to do, if James Gunn is going to have him as a baddie in this and not really do the dark side thing right away. I don't think that James Gunn wants to do dark side right away. Maybe there'll be some teases, but I think with the establishing that metahumans have been around for 300 years, I think that was kind of like setting the foundation of, well, Vandal Savage, look at him. He's how many years old? He's, it's, to me, it just sounded like, okay, maybe he's going to go that approach as opposed to Darkseid, because Darkseid just seems like a little too easy. They had Thanos over in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and we already had like a version of Darkseid, which is really, really excellent. So maybe we'll hold out on Darkseid and not do the, oh yeah, we're going to have this, Titan from another planet that's going to come down. Well, what if we have somebody who's already here, who's been living here for centuries, be basically the big baddie. So I think that's a good approach, and Cavill could play that. He probably won't, but we'll see.
There's another option for Henry Cavill to play, which I think that could be a viable option as well, which is Jason Blood, Etrigan.
Oh yeah, Jason Blood would be a good one too. Yeah, I remember Scott and I talked about those episodes of Batman, the new Batman Adventures, when he showed up. And what I'm totally drawing a blank. What does he turn into? What's his character that he turns into? The demon character? What's that character?
Etrigan.
Etrigan. Yes. Yeah. Yes. No, that could be something too. I mean, if you want to introduce some of that dark magic, darkness, whatever the hell in the DCU, yeah, he could. Yeah, there could be something right there too. Because Superman. Obviously, we have kryptonite that is his weakness, but what else is his weakness? Magic, right? So they could introduce something like that in there. Again, I'm just kind of going, I love that James Gunn is not revealing everything right now. And he's kind of going like, I'm not going to tell you what the next movie is, but it's, it's got Superman, it's
he's keeping it close to the chest.
And which is good. Keep everybody on their toes. And the fact that it's not going to be what you think it's going to be, like let's just do another Superman. No, it's going to be a Superman story, but it's going to incorporate other things. And I think, obviously there could be, everybody's talking about World's Finest. He kind of poo-pooed that and said, no, it's not going to be World's Finest. But, we'll see what happens. I didn't expect anything to be like announced right here. I think that the whole panel is over, and they didn't announce anything. They didn't do anything. Nothing new. We got a trailer, and that's it. So there was nothing really new when it came to all this stuff. So there you go, guys. Yeah, I didn't think there was going to be anything crazy, right? Just like CCXP.
I think
that's good for them to take.
I think the only thing that you expect more information. Yeah. I was going to say the only thing you probably expect more from DC stuff is their New York Comic Con, because I think that would be the perfect time for Supergirl and Lanterns to be pushed out, because those projects don't come out till next year. So
yeah, and that's probably. I mean, it's just weird to me, because I'm like going, okay, if you're trying to keep the hype alive for this universe, even if you're having like a Peacemaker central panel. Just go like, oh, but hey, we got some other things too. Here's Amelia Alcock fully in her Supergirl costume. Show her, because we already know that we have that. The Supergirl has been filmed. That they already have numerous pictures of her in the costume. Show it. Okay. And then show another, Kyle Chandler and Aaron Pierre. Another shot of him. Hey, yeah. What about Lanterns? Hey, just like, it's just that's what I don't like about like some of the decisions. I'm like, okay, you're in Hall H, and I know you're promoting strictly Peacemaker, but you have an entire universe that you need to keep the hype. Yes, we want to hype up Peacemaker, and that's what you're mainly here for. But at the same time, at the end, just go like, oh well, we got a couple other things, and then just show a couple of images or something and get the whole crowd going, and then get the internet buzz even going too for future projects, and I think like they could have teased a little bit of that, but they didn't, sadly.
Good.
Yeah,
I'm glad they're kind of like it's not like the MCU where instead of putting out a whole list of movies, they're just taking their time and maybe making it more of a surprise thing, and I like that.
Yeah, I was talking about that last night, where I'm glad that, it seems like what Gunn is taking a different approach to is the fact that he's not going, hey, this is going to be, if we're going to release it on a date, we stick to that date. Like, because anytime that the MCU has, or even other studios as well, when they show a slate, you just look at those dates and go, yeah, those are going to be changed because they never stay the same.
Never.
So yeah, so I'm really hoping that Gunn is taking the approach of the fact that it's like, okay, so if we're going to have a date, we're going to stick to that date and not, not fold or anything like that. If we greenlight this, the script is good, script is ready, everything is ready to go, and we're firing off on all cylinders, which it seems like that's the approach. So when they figure out a date and they announce the date, they're not going to, we're not going to hear, 6 months, 8 months later, oh, it's going to be delayed till this date or that, and I think that's what he's really trying to, take that approach when it comes to DC Studios, which is good, in my opinion. So we'll see.
Only time will tell. So.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it's still very fresh. And I mean, obviously with Superman coming out, and I know there's people that think it's doing very poorly, and then there's people that think it's doing very, it's, succeeding big time. And, I'm just like going, well, it's not going to make $1 billion. Some people were saying it was going to make $1 billion. Not going to make $1 billion, but it's doing just enough to, and we talked about this last night too. It's like, when you're trying to start something new, yeah, sometimes the first movie is not going to be that huge thing. Batman Begins made less than $1 billion, $500 million, right? It made like 400 and something million dollars. So, but then what happened next when The Dark Knight came out? $1 billion, So the fact that Warner Brothers and DC Studios, now that DC Studios is the thing, they're not freaking out like they freak out on everything else, where it's like, oh, this is supposed to make this much. They're looking at, okay, there's a lot of hype online. Yeah, maybe like the international numbers aren't there. Domestic numbers are there. But we're not going to just like freak out and go, nope, we got to pull the plug and just do something different. No, they're, the fact that they are, and this is something we wanted too when it came to the movement and everything. And this is why I always push back on like the people who are just upset about all this and hate James Gunn, who are part of that movement. I just go, guys, this is what we wanted. I know you don't like the guy in charge, but this is what we wanted. Can you look at it like from that perspective of, even though this movie's not doing like gangbusters as people might hope, it's still doing enough. It's going to make $500 million. It might touch 600 million, but then it probably won't touch 700. But at the same time, it's enough. There's enough hype on there, and they're going to continue. They're not going to freak out and pull the plug. We hated when that happened with Zach, when they were freaking out. It's like, yeah, Batman vs. Superman did gangbusters opening weekend, but then it had a huge drop and it had bad word of mouth because people were like, this is not what I wanted when it came to this movie. And then they freaked out, and then they were trying to change obviously what he was doing. And then he went through hell with Justice League, big time hell. And then of course we got that 2017 Justice League. So I'm just glad that that's not going to happen with James Gunn. That is not going to happen with James Gunn. And that's a thing that we were fighting for when it came to the Snyder Cut movement, And I'm sure you guys can agree with that.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Yeah. I've told people in my circle as well, it's like, give the Superman film a chance.
Yeah.
Like, don't just like say, oh, it's going to be a dud and it's not going to make its thing. It's not going to make its money back. The thing is, it did, in my opinion, it did successfully make its money back on a low budget.
Yeah.
And it made those numbers 500 million plus in dollars in revenue. That's a successful sign. And you also got to take into consideration when Blu-rays and DVDs and all of that comes out, they'll add that on top. So if they add all of that, it could be reaching 750, maybe 800 million in total, including DVD and Blu-ray sales. So
yeah, and then of course they're going to look at streaming numbers as well. So
yeah,
it's like one of those. It's just like one of those things where it's like now they're looking at even that, and I'm sure when Superman comes out, On VOD, they're going to look at those numbers and be like, hey, these numbers are, look at these numbers, they're top, blah, blah, blah. And then when it shows up on HBO Max, they're also, it's going to be number one for like a bit too. They're going to look at that and then of course put that out there. I mean, that's where we're at now. We're not it's not just box office and DVD sales. It's everything. It's so many different things now. It's VOD, it's streaming, it's all the things. And I mean, again, this is the first movie of this new universe. And it's like, hey, let's keep people in the seats to watch Superman. And yeah, not everybody's going to like it. And they didn't, sure. But there seems to be a lot of positive buzz. Just like when it comes to Fantastic Four, it's like, I mean, we were talking about this last night. I was talking about this with Phil today when I met up with him for lunch. These are the two almost like these two movies are so comic booky. They're not like trying to be, we got to try to be grounded or try to be this. No, they just were like, James Gunn was like, you know what? Let's make it comic booky. Let's make it like the animated series where you just have other characters that show up. And we don't have to do much explaining. Yeah, there's some things where it's like, yeah, I hope maybe there will be a different cut where we can get those title cards back that were apparently there. I when I heard about that, I thought it was a pretty fun idea. And I would really like to see that version where they have the title cards and whatnot. But like even after watching Fantastic Four, I'm going, oh my God, this is like totally fantasy sci-fi, just like Superman. It's a totally different world in a retro 60s world that has like this crazy technology, but it's so retro and it works. It works for that world, and it just feels very comic booky. And yeah, it's just these two movies. It seems like we're in the era of, well, let's just make it comic booky as possible. Let's not try to do what Nolan did or what Zach did. Let's make it ridiculous and comic booky. And I think what Gunn did and what Stackman, I always forget his last name. Who did Fantastic Four? Shackman, whatever. Matt Shackman? I don't know if you guys know either. But no, but they both like and Marvel Studios, they just understood like, hey, let's not make this so serious and let's make it as comic booky as possible. I even would say about Jurassic World Rebirth, even though I didn't like it, they just went, you know what? Make a fucking crazy mutant dinosaur movie, put it out there. There you go. That's what July has been. Nothing where it's like, hey, don't take it too seriously. These are summer blockbuster movies, So
go on.
Sorry. I was just gonna say, like, I saw Jurassic Park Rebirth in 3D. I had a fun time with it, but definitely has writing issues. I'll say that. But I was seeing a movie like that in 3D is awesome.
I'm sure you had an experience.
Yeah,
you had an experience, and you saw it in a certain way. You probably had a lot of fun with that experience. But then when you thought about it, you went, script was not so great. Yeah, I even said, I was like, there was like two different scripts that got mashed together. And I'm like, I don't even know what was going on with that. But we got Eric joining right now. What's happening,
hey,
Eric?
Guys. Hey, everyone. How you doing?
Well, we're doing pretty good. How you doing?
Yeah, good. And you know what? And I have been, as you know, I've been really champing at the bit to get on the stream again because I have finally set up my own studio, if you will. And it's
you got one of
my whole private eye detective kind of mindset. Like I set up all my bookshelves in this room and so on.
Yeah.
And I got the whole scenery. Like I got like my nice little revolver here. And for the movie buffs of the room, let's see if you can find out. Any of you recognize that?
Harry Potter?
Nope.
I don't know.
All right.
Not 7. No.
No, not 7.
No head in the box. No, but what is that?
Not head in the box. It's a small box. It is It's the package within it is the Grail Diary from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Oh my
word!
And I love the light. I love the light. The little desk lamp you got right there.
That's cool. Lamp, everything. I want to make everything look the same, even though all the way down to having like a cigarette and an ashtray and all that. Like I'm not a smoker, but it's the prop, the perfect little prop.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, exactly. Because like at some point, because my whole plan was that at some point I'm like, I've got it my own channel. I've done videos. Y'all may remember when I did my review of the Snyder Cut. But I was like, at some point I want to go. You know, let's go for it and do it and do my show. But hey, at some point,
hard boiled entertainment. Come on, man, get it going.
Absolutely. And since it's hardboiled entertainment, it's like, look, if I'm going to do it, it's got to have the whole look of that. So there's that. Yeah.
You got to do that. You got to do that. All right. I really have to pee, so you guys talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah.
I'll be right back. Talk.
Yeah.
Okay. The aesthetic style you got going on, man. Like that.
Yeah. Thanks a bunch. Yeah, because I've been, obviously, like as my channel name implies, I'm that big, noir, hard-boiled detective kind of thing, which is why perhaps my favorite DC character is the Question. It has been for a very long time. So there you go.
I love that Question. He's really cool in the Justice League.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah. And largely. Yeah, and largely because of Justice League Unlimited, I've always felt that if they were going to do a live-action Question, it better be Ryan Gosling. Because, again, he's soft-spoken, but he can do that noir kind of thing perfectly. If you ever seen Drive, for example.
Great casting. I agree with
that. Yeah, exactly. Like soft-spoken, but play tough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, Caleb, I wanted to ask you, is that you've seen, obviously you went to go and see Superman.
I did.
And you've seen Fantastic Four.
I see Fantastic Four tomorrow.
You see Fantastic Four tomorrow. Okay, cool. What did you think of Superman? Like, what was your
Okay, so
did you see an IMAX or non-IMAX?
So the first time I saw Superman twice. The first time I saw Superman, I just saw it normally, no special things with it, just normal.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second time I got to see it and Laser Ultra, and it was phenomenal. I had a fun time with Superman. It's a fun comic book movie. I wouldn't say it's a masterpiece, but it's a really fun movie. It's a great adaptation of Superman. I had a great time with it. Did you get to see Superman, guys? Or
I haven't.
I saw it 3 times, so I enjoyed it.
I mean, I've been really looking forward to Fantastic Four, but my sister's going off on a vacation up in Pennsylvania. I think when she comes back, we'll be watching that. But I did see we saw in the family, the whole family went to see Jurassic World, and I will say and I'm with you guys. The writing is the characterization is but Gareth Edwards' directing is excellent. You get to the sequences that it's not about the writing, it's not about the characterization, it's all about the sequences, with the dinosaurs or what have you. Those are the strong points of the movie, and I loved, and I'm going to assume we all saw the movie, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I did.
And you all in the chat saw it, right? Because this is arguably a spoiler, but it's not a spoiler for the plot. It's a spoiler for I think the best scene in the movie is when the young guy, the kid is at night, he has to go off and take a piss. And behind him, and it's there's no dialogue at all. Behind him, there's the raptor sneaking up behind him, and we can see it, and he doesn't know. But then, this the flying dinosaurs come in and attack, and there's the fight going on behind him, and he hears it, and he's "Don't move, don't say anything." And the whole sequence, it is so perfect, and we're wondering if he's going to be attacked and all that, and just that scene was just so good.
I like it. It shows that you're not safe, even to take a leak. You're not safe in that world.
No, I will admit that I even though I wasn't a fan of the movie, but I did like that when you can have. I mean, there's even a scene like this in Superman where you just have a character and then something is happening behind them. Behind him, and it's just it was one of those. Hey, you know, because this movie is not about the traditional dinosaurs. Yes, you get a T-Rex scene, the T-Rex scene that is in the original that everybody was craving for. Yeah, and that's a good scene. But then it's like, okay, yeah, we got to show the raptors, and that's how we're going to show them. But for the most part, this is all about the mutated dinosaurs, you know?
Yeah. But speaking of the T-Rex, I loved how the T-Rex sequence had like essentially the whole punchline that the T-Rex wasn't able to get to him because they got stuck. It got stuck and then just backs off. And then the punchline is that it essentially throws the inflatable like the boat and it hits them. It's like the T-Rex went, you know what? Fuck all of you. Get out of here. Here's the stupid boat. You happy?
Take it. I don't want this. Yeah. But, I mean, it had its issues, but so you said you haven't seen Superman, Eric?
No, I haven't. Yeah. But look, it's like, look, if someone it's mainly a bit of like A, time, and B, transportation, and also it's like, look, someone wants to treat me to it, I'll say like, yeah, let's go for it. But it is like, I will say, because I've always said that, look, the wound is like too fresh already, because like I was hoping for the Man of Steel 2. We were really hoping for it. They were setting it up and then they say no, never mind. So I'm like, well, excuse me, but I've always said like I hope, you know, because I'm a fan of James Gunn, I hope the movie does well. But when you bring up that point that the movie did set up, and Peacemaker also set up the whole multiverse idea becoming a pivotal thing in the DCU, and that sets up the possibility of a No Way Home type situation. And I was like, oh, that's good, because No Way Home, and I brought up this parallel. It's if you grew up with, or if you will, if you were attached to a specific Spider-Man, and then that Spider-Man was cut off and you have to deal with this other one, understandably, you might be prone to go, well, excuse me, why would I want to do this? I wanted that. But No Way Home helps patch that up. Really does, because you get Tobey Maguire back, and there's talk about that satisfying conclusion where he's patched things up. He's now an experienced Spider-Man, and there's the reconciliation of like Andrew Garfield's conflict from the second Amazing Spider-Man. Like they're helping him overcome that, and with that in mind, that can help you like see those movies and in a new light. So if they were to do that with Henry Cavill's Superman, it's like, okay. Kudos to you, James.
I mean, that's one of the things. That's one of the questions I had. Like when he met with Cavill.
Yeah.
Cavill, was there a conversation? Yeah. Hey, possibly we might be doing some crazy shit with pocket universes and having multiverse. Yeah. Would you be down maybe later if we brought your Superman back as like, hey, something? Would you be down with that? And I wonder if that was the question.
And in fact, here's the thing, because we've talked about how this Superman is more of a comic-ish, bookish Superman as opposed to a real-world Superman like what Snyder was going for. It reminds me of how the whole multiverse thing for DC started off, I believe it was the Silver Age, but it started off as a way of explaining why the Golden Age characters were so different than the Silver Age and Bronze Age characters. So they brought back the Golden Age versions of Superman and Batman and so on as the Earth 2 Superman and Batman and so on. And lo and behold, when we meet them again as the Earth 2 Superman, for example, he and Lois are married and they have kids. And Earth 2 Batman, he and Selina Kyle are married, and this was the introduction of Huntress. That the first time we see Huntress, she is the daughter of Earth 2 Selina and Batman, which is pretty fun. Yeah. Now, obviously, in the main universe, she isn't, but it was like a cute kind of thing where Selina and Bruce are always kind of like protective of her as like a reference to that. But yeah,
there's
like,
a lot of possibilities. There's a lot of
Yeah.
possibilities, and I know that James Gunn is just he's all about those possibilities. And
Mhm.
yeah, like I said, I don't see. There's no way that he has not considered having
Yeah.
any previous iterations of these characters to show
Yeah.
up again, and specifically even when it comes to Snyderverse characters, because
Yeah.
I mean, look at I mean, just look at the impact, and look at the fact that when Zach came on and they both did the Rick and Morty cameo. They were
Yeah.
game for that because they both know that yes, their fan bases are very, they're very inspired. They're very vocal. They're especially the crazier side of their fan bases are very vocal and very much out there. And so like when I'm sure and the fact that it was so noticeable, like it's so much out there that they're both their fan bases are just, have their crazy sides to the fan bases, is the fact that even like the creators of Rick and Morty were like, we have to have you both in a fucking episode. And then I love the fact that both Gunn and Snyder are big time Rick and Morty fans, and they were making fun of themselves in the episode, and it was just like, I mean, it just shows you right there, like, that they're not taking this too seriously, and they know what what their fans like, and they know a lot of things, and I really love that cameo appearance.
Yeah, and of course Zach's the joke about Zach is like he's all about being he's all about like getting the guns.
Yes, yeah. Extra creatine, please. That was so
exactly.
I was gonna mention I would love James Gunn can like help Zach out, and maybe like we could get like some kind of Elseworlds project to show like Zack Snyder's Justice League 2, whether it's like animated or comic book form. I wouldn't care. I would still take it.
Oh, don't say the A word, Caleb. Don't say the A word. Some of those guys don't like it when you say the A word. But hey, we're in a safe space here. We're good.
Well, again, as I've said many times, like a lot of those people who are like gung-ho about live action or nothing, I've brought them around by saying, hey guys, we've seen how realistic animation is increasingly getting better. Like Robert Zemeckis obviously was experimenting with it with Polar Express, and then the Christmas Carol and so on. And then we see Hideo Kojima doing it with Metal Gear Solid and Death Stranding. But it's like, as that's getting better and better, would you be for like the realistic animation that looks like live action? Because like it or not, if we were to do live action, these actors are all getting older and older and older, even assuming they would be available to do that kind of shoot. But if they only if they were coming in for animation, all they need to do was show up for a few days to record their voices, and the rest can be like animation to make them look like they do in their prime. I mean, what would you like that? And they're like, and more and more of them are going, yeah, I could be for that.
I mean, like you have that. That animation that we've seen, seen that where it's like, I like that animation that kind of it's oh man, that one animator posted something where he like animated like Superman dragging the crate ship or whatever the hell. And I'm like, that style animation, there's something, and I think what Zach was trying to do when it came to Las Vegas, the prequel for he was trying to do a similar style of animation. I really like that animation. If they were to apply that to any kind of Justice League sequels, and like I said, not everybody has to come back. Hopefully, most of them will come back, but not everybody does, because now you're going, hey, all right, so and so didn't come back. Okay, Gal Gadot didn't come back, or Ezra Miller didn't come back. You can easily find a voice actor to sound similar to.
But again, like I said, one thing at a time to like get those guys to come over. It's like, look, like if you do animation, it is more likely that more of them would come back, because hey, everyone's got a few days of free time. Why not to record my voice?
And then you get paid like at six figures to do that.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
They'll come back. You get in a booth. You say your lines. You do your thing. You do like a couple of a few days of work, and then you're done. You get a bag and you go home. So
depending on what budget they have, I'm sure it would work. If they have to hire like A-list voice acting or something, then
yeah, like I said, if there's like the certain ones that can't come back, or like I said, Ezra is always like that's the wild card. I mean, he's just. I mean, what happened with him? I mean, he's kind of just not getting too many.
Look, however many years down the line, people will have forgotten enough so that if he comes back, no one will notice.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Same with Amber Heard. Same with Amber Heard. Same with all of them.
Yeah, and I think a majority of the cast will come back. I think Henry, Ben, Ray, Fisher. I think Gal would too, but again, that's touchy. Momoa definitely would. Adams, I think, would definitely come back.
Lawrence
and then even
Fishburne.
some of the side characters like Lawrence Fishburne, if they had some Perry White in there, or and then of course you have obviously there was going to be an introduction for newer characters. I think I think Harry Lennox would come back and supply his voice as well. So there. I mean, again, it's like that's why it's so funny when I've gotten heat for suggesting animation. I'm like, it's just the easiest option.
It is.
If we want to see and hear these characters again, it's just it's a more easier option.
Yeah, because again, if you were to go live action or nothing, they would have to have time in all of their schedules to come back and shoot a whole movie. And B, how many years has it been? They're all getting gray in the hair. Sorry, but and they're
expensive.
And de-aging technology, it has improved over the years, but honestly, it would be a lot cheaper nowadays just to go full on live action live simulated animation.
Well, Dave, I don't know if you saw the interview with Ben Affleck, how Ben Affleck was mentioning how his bat suits were so uncomfortable.
Yeah, I saw that. I talked about that too. I mean, and I even brought up the one of the reasons why the Flash Batfleck costume, a lot of people hate it, which it wasn't the best, but from my information that I got when it came to that, when he signed on to do the Flash, at first he was not going to be in the costume, but then they changed things around and were like, hey, we got to get you in the costume. So he was like, well, give me the most comfortable costume you can. Yeah. So it was at his request to be, and you could tell that they just kind of were like, it was like a bodysuit, that was kind of molded from previous costumes. Same cowl as Justice League. They had the same Justice League cowl. But then of course they have we'll just play it off as, it's daytime and you're riding a bike, so let's just put some armor over you. So that's why I keep on saying, like, when it came to that Batfleck costume, it was partially because Ben Affleck didn't want to get into like the previous ones, even though he has said he specifically loved the BVS costume. But let's face it, it was still very uncomfortable, very heavy, very hot. And I mean, I think we can all agree that's one of the best. I mean, it's my favorite. It's my favorite bat suit.
Again, and the thing is, the older he gets, the less tolerable that uncomfortable suit's going to be.
Exactly. So
I liked seeing Ben Affleck's Batman work in daytime, though. I really like seeing Batman work in daytime and nighttime both. Right? Like, it's cool.
Yeah. But I mean, like, and I just thought about it right now because obviously, we were talking about Predator, Killer of Killers. That's the animation style that I think is really cool. That I think Zach would even like if he wanted to do like a sequel, like that kind of animation. Because I think when we saw shots of, like I said, the Las Vegas, it was kind of a similar style to what we saw in Killer of Killers. And when I was watching Killer of Killers, when I watched it, when it came out that weekend, I went, that's the animation that I think is like really, I don't know, there's something about that animation. It's got a realism to it, but it doesn't at the same time. And then of course, being the fact that, obviously when last night's panel, when it came to Badlands and Trachtenberg was going, hey, we have a cutout scene that, a different ending where, you see what's her name from Prey, but you also see Danny Glover and Arnold Schwarzenegger. I don't know if you get, spoiler alert. But yeah, but I just like that animation style, and I'm going, I would like that for Justice League sequels if they were going to do something, because there's a realism and there's not at the same time. I don't want it to be too real, but I like the fact that it's like there's a little bit of realism in there, I guess you could say. I don't know.
Would you say it should be like R-rated? Because I know like the original ideas sounded pretty R-rated. Like I know the Riddler was gonna.
I mean, isn't just that Zack Snyder's Justice League technically R-rated or no?
Yeah,
Or is it
mainly because there's F-bombs, but
yeah. But I mean, but you can have 2 F-bombs in a PG-13.
Yeah.
So, but there is what 3 in Justice League, because we have somebody in the beginning. No, I think there's only 2, right? Oh no,
Cyborg.
3. Yeah, Cyborg says. Well, yeah, Cyborg says, "Fuck." What does he say? Fuck
the world.
Fuck the world. Yeah. So we have, and then we have a guy, one of the bad guys before Wonder Woman shows up, and he says, he drops an F-bomb, and then of course, the best F-bomb is Batman saying, "I'll fucking kill y'all." Like, yes,
that's cool.
Oh, God damn it! I mean, that's why that Joker. I mean, I know a lot of people. We always talk about the interrogation scene in Dark Knight, but I'm like, have you watched this though? I mean, it's not the same. It is more comic booky, but it's darker and so just.
And it's on another
you
level.
literally have a Joker saying, "I'm going to give you a reach around," and you have Batman threatening to fucking kill you.
That was awesome. I like Leto as Joker. I never had a problem. It's not his fault for the writing, and I know most of his scenes were cut out of Suicide Squad as Joker. So
yeah, it sucks.
It wasn't his
Were
fault.
you gonna say something, Talia?
I was going to say that scene is like Ben Affleck's Batman with Jared Leto's Joker at the the end of Zack Snyder's Justice League. It's on another level compared to the Dark Knight. You can't I'll be honest with you, you can't compare them. You can't compare the Dark Knight to Zack Snyder's Justice League, I'm afraid.
Because different things are happening. Like when you have the Dark Knight, it's based in it's trying to be grounded as all hell. And it's a great scene. It's iconic. And yes, I love that, obviously Dark Knight, it's just like that scene is so good, but then it's like, all right, well, we've had Keaton and Nicholson, do their thing. But when you have like a scene taking place in a future world that is dominated by Darkseid and Apocalypse, and Batman and Joker have to team up, and I mean, that's the thing. That's the added little bonus is like they are supposed to be on the same team together, but yet they're still looking at each other like, Joker's still fucking with Batman, and Batman's like, you try it, motherfucker. If you do anything, I am going to rip your throat out, and it's like, that's what's so great about that scene is just the fact that they're supposed to be team members. They're supposed to be working together, and Joker is just pushing all his buttons, and then Batman pushes his buttons back by talking about, holding a dying Harley Quinn, in his arm, and what she said her dying wishes is to kill you. I mean, and then that's why I love like how Jared Leto plays that in his face when he like hears that. He's like, it affects him, and it's like, it's different, way different than what was happening in Dark Knight.
I love that line. Why did you send a boy wonder to do a man's job?
Such a good line. Such a good line. Because just to add that little bonus of like, oh yeah, remember when I killed your little buddy? I killed him, and it's like, so to have that line, in there to make people remember, oh yeah, remember he killed Robin. That's just, and that's pushing Batman's buttons, and then he pushes back when he says, oh yeah, when Harley Quinn was dying in my arms, she told me one thing. It's like, oh,
it's funny.
They're just going back and forth like, hey.
I will say, now that I think about it, with that exchange with those lines, you know how Zach, when he was talking about how like Justice League 2 would be very nightmare universe centric, and that there was supposed to be like a Last Supper where they all say like a Rashomon thing where they all say their sides of that story. And I'm just wondering, the fact that he had that exchange, I'm like, that kind of now makes me wonder if that scene was really necessary. Like maybe when actually filming it, he's like, maybe I don't need to do that since we already talked about it.
Yeah, it could be. I don't know. It's always interesting, the process when it comes to all that.
It is. I just want to say, like, me and my dad were the ones that showed Zack Snyder's Justice League to my grandparents, and my grandparents aren't even superhero fans. They watched the 4 hours of Zack Snyder's Justice League, and they were blown away on how good it was.
Wow, that's good.
Because that's the thing about Zack Snyder's version, like his take on these superheroes, is that his is the, if you will, the grown-up version. Like it's like because there are all these like the mainstream like who are not the folks that are not into CBMs, and they think, oh well, that's childish, or like, oh that's just kiddish stuff, and then they see, well, this, like along with Christopher Nolan with the Dark Knight trilogy, this is stuff that even people who are not into the comic bookish stuff can look and say, this is really good.
Well,
Because
I mean, Kevin Smith talked about that when you talked about his Superman review, and that's why this is why I always love Kevin Smith, because sometimes he'll be like saying stuff that I'm thinking that I don't know exactly how to like say, and I'll be like, oh yeah, that's what I wanted to say, because he talked about how this was like this Superman was the first time, James Gunn's Superman was the first time he ever related to Superman. He was always a Batman fan. And I totally see that, where it's like, oh yeah, that's what James Gunn did. He definitely made Superman relatable to like a common man person. I mean, like, what Zach did was like he grounded Superman, and that's an impossible task. That's what they wanted Christopher Nolan to do, and Christopher Nolan said, I can't do that. Let's get the Watchmen guy to do it, because look what he did over here. And that's what Zach did. Zach grounded. So and I'll even say that also makes his Superman relatable to a sense of that. But when it came to, the speech that Corin Sweat Superman has about, hey, what makes me human, even though I'm not human, and Kevin Smith said, that I related to that. I've never related to Superman until I heard that and watched this movie. But then I love how he also said that when he was younger, he went, I always wanted like these grounded takes of these characters. I wanted these adult versions, and then Nolan and then Snyder gave him those versions, and he was like, oh yeah, fucking A. He just gave me that what I wanted. So now that I'm older and I'm like, well, let's see a different version. And now I have a version of Superman where I went, holy shit, I actually relate to Superman when he was saying that speech of like how you haven't seen it yet, Eric, but the speech at the end, you probably already kind of heard
I know about the speech where like, he tells Luthor why, like Luthor's like talking about it. It's like, well, and then like, isn't this the speech is basically like, yes, Jor-El, my father, presumably said this, but look, this is why
it wasn't really about that. It was more of like, he was trying to tell Luthor that I'm as human as you, even though I'm not human. So he just basically goes like, I wake up, I make mistakes, I have fears, I stumble upon myself, So he's like, that's what makes me human. Even though I have these powers, I still wake up every day, and I'm not perfect. So that's what makes me human, kind of thing.
Yeah, and that you know what that reminds me of? Men are still good. We fight, we betray one another.
Totally.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. It's like if you watch all these movies, there's like the similar themes, but you're just having different artists tell you these similar themes of like, oh yeah, there's everything is human. And that's another thing, going back to the Predator Badlands Comic-Con panel from last night. I brought this up last night on the stream, was the fact that Trachtenberg said, even though this movie is a predator and an android, a Weyland Yutani android, it's a very human story. like, even though it's not human beings, it's a creature and a fucking robot. It's a very human story, and it's like, that's what we I think that's what filmmakers are always striving to, is like, hey, tell a very human story with like these crazy characters. And Zach very much portrayed that. I mean, Donner portrayed that, and and Gunn portrayed that in their own ways of like, hey, let's tell this story about this this superhuman, this guy that looks like a human that can just do everything. He's impervious to pretty much everything, but let's try to make him as human as possible. And they all definitely did it. And even in other iterations too, like animated series, Superman and Lois, they did all that stuff. I would say that Superman Returns was just basically just a legacy Superman the movie sequel, but it's just, that's what you have to do when you approach Superman, is like, oh, you got to humanize him in a certain way. Yeah. And I think Gunn, I mean, I was worried, like, is Gunn going to find a different way to humanize him? And he did. Yeah. And that's why when I watched Kevin Smith's review of it, and the fact that he said this was the first time I've related to Superman, I went, oh, okay, see, you took like one of the biggest comic book nerds that everybody knows, and you made him relate with Superman, which is really good. And the fact that he was still going, I got my versions of that I wanted before. I wanted the adult version. Zach gave me that. I wanted, and I loved, but I wanted something where I can relate to him, and he did. So I love that.
Yeah. Like Henry is the adult, fully grown up, mature Superman, whereas David Cornsweet is the young man Superman who's just got into the game.
Yeah, that's how it plays out. I mean, like, even though like when you watch Man of Steel, he is still revealing himself to the world, but it's in a way where the way I love it. I mean, I'll always say what I love about Man of Steel is when we see the ship about to crash on Earth, that Zach went, we're not going to we're just going to smash cut right to adulthood, and he's on a boat. And I was like, I remember being in the theater. I literally went, oh, and I looked at my friend. I was like, oh, they're not doing, hey, baby Clark, and they're gonna find him and do that whole thing. All of a sudden, we have Clark being the drifter. Drifter.
Yeah,
what?
I love the whole drifter thing, because again, it does show that even though Henry Cavill's Superman is a rookie, he's still lived a life. Like, he's still gone through a lot of hard knocks, so that when he starts off as Superman, he's already matured, if you will, where he's already an experienced man.
No, you're absolutely correct, and that's what he emphasized there. And when it comes to James Gunn's Superman, his Superman was a little bit more coddled, and a little bit more like, hey, I want to save everybody, I want to love everybody. And then he emphasizes that big time in his movie, where it's like, this is a Superman that just wants everyone down to a squirrel. Obviously there's the whole save the squirrel. He's emphasizing like, oh yeah, I want, and even the way he talks when he's just like golly and gosh and stuff like that. That's not Cavill Superman. Cavill Superman is like, I've been through some shit, I've seen some shit, I've drifted, I've worked in bars, I've worked on boats, and I've had to play human within like the. And that's what and it's almost funny too, because I wish there was actually more. We can get more backstory on Snyder's Clark going through all that, because like in that, maybe there is something there. Maybe Zach has like pages and pages of what Clark has done, what jobs he has. Like, he's worked on, he grew up on a farm. He's worked on fishing boats. He's probably done more like construction work and everything, but. That there's something there that every time I watch Man of Steel, I always go, man, there could be like a whole series of Drifter Clark trying to play human and working within the the confines of the jobs like farming and fishing and all these like jobs that we don't think about in our daily lives. We just go, hey, I go to the store and there's my meat, there's my produce and everything. But what if like a superhuman is going around and getting the human experience through those jobs, you know, and I think that's what Zach was really trying to emphasize with his Superman. And when it comes to James's Superman is like, okay, well, now we're more modern day, and he grew up, and he, you know, his Earth parents were a little bit more. They were a little bit more, you know, I guess you could say a little bit more Kansas-y. They had the, you know, some people didn't like it. I didn't really necessarily like it, but after the third time I watched, I went, you know what? It's different and it works. Like,
a lot of people have said they don't like that kind of like trailer park thing with their like heavy set and so on. They didn't really like that whole look and feel of them. But when Jonathan Kent gives Clark that pep talks at the end, near the end, where he's like, look, like, I raised you, and it's up to you to like make your choices and all that. It's like, and then they're like, that was a good speech. This is a good Jonathan Kent. He may not look the way I want, but that's a good speech. It is a good speech, and you haven't even seen the whole speech. That's the thing, and where it is in the movie. So when you actually see that speech in the movie, it's at it's at a good time because with things that happen. And it sets up, and like the one thing I push back against, like Kevin Smith, when he was like, he wasn't a fan of like certain things that happened with, Jarrell and Mara, which I know, which I'm sure you've heard about. Yeah. But it works with the story. It works with the story to the end, where you kind of go, oh, okay, this is where James Gunn was leading to. And every time I've watched it, I'm like going, all right. You nailed it. Like this is choking me up because of how you led from this to here. This is like Superman's journey of like trying to be like this perfect creature, and he can't be perfect, and he goes through these struggles. And then when you see when he talks to his talks to Jonathan, and he gives him that speech of like, and more of it being like, hey, us as parents, we're supposed to give you tools, and you're supposed to fail. You're supposed to, fall and flat on your face, but you're supposed to come out, better on the other end, and everything. And the way it ends, it's just, it's pretty magical. Yeah, and the two things about the whole Jor-El twist: A, it's been done. We've seen it before with Smallville, so we shouldn't be too surprised by it. And B, I'm with Scott. Why does nobody in universe even think for a second that Luthor and the engineer faked it? Yeah. Well, they there's like a specific line that Luthor says where he's like, no, it's not fake. It happens a little too quick. Like, and again, the movie is 2 hours long, so everything's quick. And I wish it was a little bit more fleshed out, but at the same time, and I love that Gunn is like sticking to it. He's like, no, don't expect anything to, change from that. But then, there's also been the explanation of, hey, it's not like, Jor-El was like, yeah, go to this planet and just start populating it, start taking all. But he was just kind of like going, hey, you know what? They're a little inferior. Do whatever you want. Keep the bloodline going. And I'm sure there's going to be more added to it where it doesn't sound as terrible as some people are making it. It's just more of like, hey, son, we're going to go here. These humans, they're flawed. They're this, which is true. They're this and this. And it's like, hey, do what you can. Keep the bloodline going. If you want to take multiple wives, do it. But it's, and I think it's going to be more, and maybe Supergirl will touch on it a little bit more too. Yeah. But at the same time, it's like, people were making it sound like, oh yeah, like Jor-El wanted him to just go around and just start, graping. I don't want to say the R word. It's YouTube. But he wanted to go around and just like, hey, I'm just gonna take over, and blah blah blah. And I get that Gunn was trying to emphasize that that's what it was sounding like. Because obviously with social media, how social media can be where they make it so hyperbolic about certain things. And it's like, no, that's not exactly what it was. But obviously if it starts going viral on the internet and stuff, it's going to sound like, oh, Jesus Christ, Superman's here to fucking take over and,
have his way with all our women, kind of thing. So
yeah. Although I will say, there was this. I love this. There was this guy on Twitter who did this AI rap music video with Bradley Cooper's Jarrell doing a rap of that part.
Yeah, I saw that.
And it is so great. I loved how he even goes into, hey, Batman does it too. Look at all the women he's screwed. He's screwed with over the years, and even shows Batgirl. That's so great. He shows her with Batgirl, shows her with Talia al Ghul, shows her with Selena. How many girls has Batman done over the years? It's hey, you can do. If he can do it, you can do it.
There's too many to count for Batman.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know I remember I recently watched I watched Superman the animated series. I remember seeing Bruce Wayne screwing with Lois Lane.
Yes, they had a relationship. In Batman the animated series. Which obviously that was something that even Zach wanted to touch on. Well, at one point, which I know a lot of people were not good on that.
Yeah.
But I was like, what? But it was something interesting. But I mean, like I said, there were so many things that when Zach revealed, and this is what's kind of funny about when it comes to the discourse between Zach and James is everybody wants to just be so hyperbolic about whatever side they're on and whatever side.
Yeah.
It's there are crazy ideas. Both of them have had crazy ideas when it comes to the mythology of these characters, but that's a good thing. You're supposed to have, when you have a director come in, you don't want them just to, again, Bryan Singer came in and just did a Superman Donner sequel. And yeah, maybe he had a little bit of extra things in there because he had to modernize it. But overall, when I rewatched it, I'm like, yeah, it's not a bad Superman film, but it's just, there's nothing that modernizes the character more. So then when you watch Man of Steel, you go, oh shit, this completely modernizes the character and shows the character in a different sense. And I think even James did that too when it came to his Superman, and we're just like, okay, how do we modernize it a little bit more? And I'm going to take this approach.
Yeah.
And you have to constantly change it up because that's what the comic book writers do. They have to change it up. So why not the filmmakers do the same thing and change it up? And I mean, I still think Gunn still played it a little safe when it came to certain things.
Yeah, case in point, the John Williams theme.
Yeah, he played it a little safe with things, and then of course when it came to test audiences, he cut out some things that weren't testing right. So he played it safe with that. I don't like that, but I get it. They're really trying to set off, they're trying to set up this new whole thing. So they were like, all right. And for the most part, it's working. It's not, Superman is not a flop. It's successful, not big time successful, but it's successful enough where you can continue. And the word of mouth and everything, the buzz is all there. But at the same time, I mean, Zach really tried to all right, well, let's try this approach and let's try that. Yeah. And he took more chances. And then even when he had, future stuff, like when he talked about oh yeah, well, what if the gods were actually Kryptonians and it was all a science thing. And, when he mentioned that during Full Circle, that they had that idea, I mean, people bring that up as if he was actually trying to do that. And he didn't. It was just an idea, Yeah. Just like the Bruce and Lois having a kid was an idea. But then essentially what was actually going to happen was it still was going to be Clark and, Lois and Clark kid,
Exactly.
And, I know you didn't like the idea of Bruce and,
exactly.
But at the same time, it was an idea. Yeah.
Which makes it all the more funny that there are people who still insist that Zach was planning to do that anyway. Yeah. And it's like, Eric, I don't know what to tell you. It's like, well, apparently you still don't. So whatever.
Yeah, I know. I love it when people were trying to say well, Zach wanted to do this and do that. It's like, no, that was an idea that they were talking. And he just brought it up during a Q&A that, oh yeah, we had the idea. But then they didn't go forward with it because guess what? He was like, yeah, let's not go with that idea. It's not going to work. But it was an idea. But then, some people just make it seem like, oh yeah, he wanted to do this. It's like, no, it was just an idea. Everybody has ideas, guys. Come on.
Yeah, they're all going like, they're all going, oh, here's how he could still do it. I'm like, guys, the fact that there's literally no setup at all, no interaction at all between Bruce and Lois in the Snyder Cut means it ain't, and it wasn't going to happen.
No, yeah.
Did you guys hear that? Apparently, like Jeff Goldman was gonna be playing Riddler, and he was supposed to, I'm not gonna say it, but off himself. And like,
yeah. Well, that was in the storyboards, right? That was in the storyboards.
That was in the original storyboard.
Where because he got so obsessed.
I never heard that.
Yeah, I didn't hear about that.
I heard. I don't know. I heard somewhere that he was eyed for that role of the Riddler in the DCU, but
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, but I didn't hear about like who was eyed for. But I remember like hearing, obviously when it came to the storyboards, where the Riddler was so obsessed with the anti-life to solve the anti-life equation that he went insane. And then when he did solve it, he basically was like, we're all done for, and then he kills himself. Yeah. So I was like, yeah. I mean, that was an idea. Who knows if that would have been. I thought it was a cool idea. And I mean, Zach said on this very, stream where he goes, if we don't get a sequel, those storyboards are the closest thing you're going to get to a sequel, because we had some ideas in there. Some of them were not going to be, but those were some of the ideas we had. And I very much, who knows if that would have all went through, or the Riddler would have offed himself. But, but I do love the concept of the Riddler being a part of it. And because he's the Riddler and trying to solve puzzles, he gets so obsessed with trying to solve the anti-life equation. And then when he does, it's the breaking point where he just goes, all right, we're done for. This is ridiculous. And then he just, it's a really cool idea. That should be in a comic book at some point.
I'm looking at all these storyboards, and I'm like, oh, if only we got it.
I know, right?
It's so beautiful.
Can you imagine a graphic novel done by Frank Miller, though? Doing stuff like that?
I think it's going to happen. It has to happen. There's no way that you have, and they know that the Snyderverse is popular. And, the fact that, you have Rick and Morty having both of, Gunn and Snyder just shows you like, oh yeah, they know what's out there when it comes to this. And we've had Batman 89 continue. For God's sakes, I just showed a book where somebody made a sequel in between, Batman 89 and Returns that I can't wait to start reading. But you have Superman 78, you have like these continuations. It's like, okay, there's no way that you can't tell me that we're going to have Snyderverse comic books at one point that are going to, tell the stories of the sequels that were, that had these ideas, and then tell spin-off stories too in between the movies. We'll get a Batman story prior to Batman versus Superman. We'll get his very own Batman movie. We'll get that Batfleck Batman story in a book or something like that. I don't know.
We did get little tie-in setup comics for like BVS, these little comic shorts. Yeah, and we also got like the tie-in comic of like for a Man of Steel that was saying that Supergirl was that open pod.
And we got the prequel comic to like the Flash movie. I read it. I thought it was cool. I don't know if you guys.
Yeah. No, I read that too, and it was like, that's what's cool about all this stuff is like, and then like I said, somebody's gonna be like Jim Lee, or somebody's gonna be like, all right, it's time to make some Snyderverse anthology books or whatever the fuck. And thank you, Axel, for the $5 super chat. Do people not remember when Michael Bay wanted the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to be aliens? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fans barely bring that up. That is true. He did want them to be aliens. I remember hearing that when it came to the first movie, and they were like going, oh, there's a possibility that they're not mutant turtles, they're actually aliens. And I went, oh, that's a choice. That's definitely a choice. That's going to piss off a lot of people. But of course, they didn't go with that. They didn't go with that, but he had the idea of like, hey, let's change up the mythos. But the thing is, though, if you want to change up the mythos, and Zach said this, perfectly on Joe Rogan's podcast, this is religion to people. So you got to be careful with that. And then I also loved what he said on Rogan's podcast was the fact that, when you tell me that Batman can't kill, guess what the first thing I want him to do, and then they start laughing. It's like, yeah, I want him to, break that rule. But what Zach did was like, well, why is he break the why? He always said the why. Why does he break that rule?
And I love how
he would break that rule.
Yeah, and in doing so, he directly challenges the whole mindset that the fans keep saying, and Batman has said on occasion that, like, if I go down that road, I can never come back. And then Zach's like, why? I mean, like, that's poetic, but in theory, like, yeah, you can go through a redemption arc.
It is. Was it broken Batman that lost his Robin? I could see why he started breaking the rule. No.
He said that on the Vodka stream. He because like I think I asked him. I was like, why would you choose Dick Grayson to be the dead Robin? Obviously, this wanted it to change to be like Jason Todd because that's what's supposed to be the dead Robin. But then he was just strictly said that, like, well, imagine, the first one, Dick Grayson, being the one that gets killed, and I mean, that's going to affect you a lot more than, say, the second one, because, in the books, it's like the first Dick Grayson, he ends up being successful and being his own person. So you have success. And then, the second one, it's still going to affect you. But then at the same time, imagine if it's the first one. Affecting you and it being Dick Grayson.
And supposedly that very thought process is in the comics somewhere. Like a comic fan, like, told me he didn't tell. He didn't tell me exactly where it was, but we know that in the aftermath of Death in the Family and the whole story arc that brought in Tim Drake, Tim actually lays out how the death of Jason Todd was affecting Bruce and was driving him to the breaking point. And then at some point in the comics, when Bruce is reflecting on that fact, he does mention that if Dick had been the one I had lost, it would have driven me over the edge.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's so funny when people can't realize that's the reason why Batman is how he is in BVS. It's like, it's literally laid out in the storytelling. And that's the thing. It's like, you have to lay it out in the storytelling, and with these characters. And that's what's going to be interesting when we see the DCU Batman and how he is. And, the fact that there's already going to be a full-on Bat family, like it's already established, where I'm just wondering, like, how further along is this Bat family? Like, how many is it? Are we already, how many Robins? We're already going to be to Damian Wayne. Are they going to not have all the Robins? Because, you have to take liberties. Even Batman, the New Adventures, they took liberties of kind of combining Tim Drake and they did combine Tim Drake and Jason Todd together in that, because, obviously it's a family TV show. So you're not going to have Jason Todd, who's like a firecracker who gets, beat to death by the Joker with a crowbar and shit. So you're not going to have that in a family animated series. So they combined. So I'm just kind of wondering too, because sometimes obviously when it comes to 80 years of storytelling and then you're trying to tell the story within a couple of movies, it's a little harder. So maybe you're going to have to take some liberties of combining things. And I'm just kind of wondering when we get to Batman, is there going to be like those 4 Robins? Yeah. I mean, obviously the Carrie Kelly Robin is a whole like kind of a Elseworlds thing, because I don't think they'll all have that aspect. But you have to have the 4 Robins. If you're going to have Damian being the 4th Robin, are you going to have the 3 prior as well? That's what I'm really wondering when it comes to those. When it comes to stories.
And again, like, back to Batman killing and so on, and the whole
is that a peach shake right there? Is that a peach shake?
In fact, more than that, here's the peach milkshake, and here's something relatively new, the peach frosted lemonade.
Oh, wow. So you're all peached out right there. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, it's the season. 'Tis the season, so I'm going all in. Yeah.
I visited America recently. Actually, it's I went to America as a baby, but I went to America the first time and like since I was a baby, and I had a fun time. Like America has such great stores. I got to try out Olive Garden, and the food was incredible.
It was what?
Mhm.
The food was what?
I said
Incredible.
Olive Garden was incredible.
Oh, you
loved
liked it? Okay, good. Okay, I was sometimes it could be hit or miss with Olive Garden, depending. But I'm glad you had a good experience because
And
I've been at some Olive Gardens where it's been bad, but I've been at some Olive Gardens which have been really good. So I'm glad you had a good experience.
Thank you.
Like the fettuccine Alfredo. I will say this:
Oh, yeah.
when you compare it to, say, like,
breadstick.
yeah, Carrabba's, for example, the Carrabba's fettuccine Alfredo. If you do the basic fettuccine Alfredo, it is so flavorless. I'm sorry. But now there was this other like Italian restaurant that I've tried, but none of them are even remotely as excellent as, like, I'm sorry, but like Olive Garden's fettuccine Alfredo always sets the standard for me. Yeah, mainly because all the others are like barely put any sauce in it.
Yeah,
it's good. I was gonna say one thing to say. I just want to say, like, that's the thing that kind of upsets like me is that I really want to explore more of Ben Affleck's Batman's rogue gallery in Gotham City. And that's something I'm gonna miss, right?
Yeah.
That we never got to explore.
And
more.
hopefully we can get that in, like, if we can get that in the comic books or something, I'm like, yeah, I mean, I really hope, and I know, I just have a feeling it's going to eventually happen, because that's why, like, Batman 89 and Superman 78, those stories happen. And like, hey, what else happened within this world? And there's so much, and I'm sure Zach has notes. He has pages and pages in books, and we know that he has his books of notes. He's probably got pages where it's like, where he has backstories and other adventures, like, oh yeah, well, the reason why this Batman is like this is because of this and this, and he wrote like a whole story. And I have a feeling that we would actually get, a Wonder Woman, what he showed, where she was going around and fucking chopping off heads and shit like that. And his original pitch to Wonder Woman, like, okay, yeah, she was like this, like right here, but what, but I wouldn't be surprised if they go, well, what if we have like a Wonder Woman series where she's like going around looking for Ares and chopping the heads off of fucking, bad people.
Like that seems so much like if you've been following the comics, the absolute Superman, absolute Batman, absolute Wonder Woman, and each of them, like, especially absolute Wonder Woman, is even more like intense and edgy and so on. Absolute Batman is almost the what's his name? What was his name? That was going to do Batman Year One with Frank Miller doing the screenplay.
You're talking about David Fincher? Oh no, Aronofsky.
No, not David Fincher. Aronofsky, yeah. Aronofsky's version where he's like going to the basics, where he's building it to get himself and all that. Yeah. But I feel like that would be an excellent Elseworlds where Diana is like has this whole history of going through war, being like a counter god of war, if you will, to Ares.
I can only imagine, like, I'm sure even Zach had the thought of, like, man, imagine like a montage of just Diana going through the different wars, like back then, and you have a bunch of slow motion, and she's just battle cry and just chopping heads off. Yeah.
Although I will say, what that directly parallels, right?
300.
Nope. The opening sequence of X-Men Origins Wolverine. Remember the opening credits?
Oh yeah,
where Wolverine and Sabretooth are going through all the wars.
It's a great opening sequence, though, I will say.
Yeah,
I actually really love that. I mean, the movie struggles, but that opening sequence is fucking awesome.
Like the first 20 minutes or so of that movie is just so perfect. Like, and it is a perfect intro to Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool, because he is Deadpool even before he puts it on. Like, okay, people are dead.
Yeah. No, it's great. It's great. I mean, I would say the opening scene, the first 20 minutes of X-Men Wolverine is actually really good, and then it starts to fall flat as we get to the second act, it starts to
Yeah.
fall flat when it comes to a lot of things where it's like, and then the final act, you're kind of like, all right, it's not a terrible movie, but yeah, that first act of X-Men Wolverine, I think is actually really, really good. Like, I can watch that and then just kind of go, all right, that was it. I don't need to watch the rest. Maybe I'll watch, when he, fully gets the adamantium. But
yeah, I love when he fights the Blob. Of course, the origin story for the Blob. That was just great.
That was pretty good too.
Especially
that tattoo. When he talks about his tattoo, it's all, she's gained weight since then or something like that.
Yeah,
making fun of him, but not really making fun of him is pretty funny.
Exactly. What's the iron, Slim?
So Eric, did you see Fantastic Four yet? You haven't seen Fantastic Four either?
Like I said, like I want to see it, but like my sister's off on Pennsylvania on vacation. When she comes back, it's like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. Okay. So you haven't seen that yet.
I have a person at work. She's gonna go take me to go see Fantastic Four tomorrow, so I'm really looking forward to it.
Okay. Cool.
I want to see it because I will say one of the best things about it is like just, especially in the publicity tour, the way that Galactus looks.
Oh yeah,
like that is like it is so Sauron, Lord of the Rings. The beginning of Lord of the Rings, just right there,
and it works. I was worried that it wasn't going to work, and it definitely works. And we won't, jump into spoilers or anything, of course. But I'm just saying, like when you get first introduced, Jesus Christ, the whole scene, the second act is by far some of the best MCU shit that you'll ever see. Like maybe, I mean, I'm just saying from my perspective, like because I said it last night, and I even said it in my first reaction. The first act is a slog. It just for me it was just kind of like we're just all right. A lot of things are happening because they have to reintroduce the characters and stuff like that, and I totally get it. But man, once you start getting into the plot and Galactus, that Galactus is a threat. You guys just pay attention to that second act and the way that things fucking go. I was kind of going like, geez, they went for it with this whole freaking scene right here. Whoa. And then of course the third act, the resolve and everything, the final act, it's good still, it's fine. I think there's some things that could have been way better, but that second act, I would not change anything in that second act of the movie. It's so you guys obviously pay attention to that second act when it comes, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about once it all starts happening. You're gonna be like, holy shit, like what is happening right now? I mean, I was just kind of going like, oh fuck, now we're in it. I'm like, I didn't know they were gonna go this hard, when it came to things, and then and it trickles into the final act. But the final act, there's just some things where I was like, maybe this could have been a little better or whatever the fuck. But it's pretty. You guys are in for a treat when it comes to some of that stuff. So.
Absolutely,
you'll like.
I expect so. Yeah, because obviously, like a lot of the hardcore fans were like complaining about the fact that it's not the main Silver Surfer. It's like it's the woman Silver Surfer. But hey, it's like making it the woman, the girl Silver Surfer, like. That gives Johnny Storm someone to flirt with,
dude, and it works. You'll see, like it's not just because he's Johnny Storm and he flirts. There is like I'm not going to reveal it, but there's something significant that happens with that character because he is. I mean, he is drawn to her, but there's something significant that happens between the two of them. That you see what happens, and I was like. Thank you for making Johnny relevant to this and not just be a womanizer and a jokester and kind of a douchebag,
Because obviously, like again, like a lot of people were like getting kind of like shifty, like when they were hearing like all the interviews where they were saying like it was like, so are you saying that Sue is now the leader of the group? No. Or are you saying that Johnny Storm's no longer a womanizer? No, it's not. It's that. Yes, he's still a ladies' man, but he's still a charming guy. But that leads to something better.
Well, that's the thing, and we talked about it last night too. It's like you know, Sue has always been the glue that holds the team together because she's the woman, she's the nurturer, and she's dealing with
Yeah.
3 dudes. And
Yeah.
that's always going to be the case when it comes to that dynamic. Is the woman is always going to be the glue and hold things together, and that is totally relevant here. She's, you know, while she's keeping the group together and everything, and this is what, you know, like I said, when people freak out about that and stuff because they're like, no, Reed needs to be the leader. It's like, no, Reed is 100. The whole movie, he is trying to come up with solutions. He is writing on the chalkboard. He is trying to figure out solutions as
Yes.
she is holding the group together and keeping
Yeah.
everybody in line. And
Exactly.
Reed is 100% obsessing on trying to figure out solutions. That's where his, you know, he's not just a stretchy guy. His power is his brain. And even when it comes to solutions, they're not good solutions. And there's a part in the movie where the solution is not good, and even Sue calls him out on it because she knows exactly what he's thinking, and it's not good. But she understands the solution, and it's, again, they wrote these characters very well in this
Yeah.
version. Yeah,
Exactly.
so.
They beat each other up. Exactly. And of course, someone had like the perfect joke online. It's like, a bunch of straight guys are upset that they're seeing a naked silver woman instead of a naked silver man.
I know, right? I know. And it's so funny because when I see people, like when I hear people either on podcasts or whatever, they're like, "Oh yeah, they gender swapped," and I'm like, "Well, not really, because it's not. There actually is a female Silver Surfer. They just chose to go with that one as opposed to the male one." And I'm like, they didn't do it that. They just chose to go with this one, and there is a male Silver Surfer out there.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
for all we know, when the Fantastic Four and Galactus, when they go into the main MCU, then Galactus is going to find for himself like the main Silver Surfer to be his herald for the MCU universe.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, like Jade said, do we want Namor to be in the picture? I don't really want the Namor and Sue Storm relationship.
Yeah, I don't think we need that, but maybe they'll toy with that a little bit. I don't know if they are. I don't know. It's gonna be. I know. They joked about it during the press junket where like Vanessa Kirby was asked about, what about Namor, and then Pedro Pascal was on point, going, "Oh, she always talks about Namor." You know, making the joke of, because we all know that, you know, there's a little thing that happens with them, you know, and that's just, but at the same time, they could toy with that because even in this movie, they emphasize that Reed is so obsessive about coming up with a solution that, you know, and again, she has to like keep him in place. And even that's like hard for her to keep him in place, to be like, wait a minute, what do you, I know what you're thinking, and blah, 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 you know, and I'm like, you know, and we know where Reed can go really off the walls. If you've, you know some of the source material, he does go off the walls. He goes off the reservation, and just, you know, that's why he's, you know, has made some really bad decisions, and really, you know, and that's essentially part of it. So I don't know how much they're going to toy with all that. Who knows? Like I said, the next time they appear is going to be Doomsday. So, you know.
Yeah. Besides, Wakanda Forever pretty much had, you know, like had Namor having the potential relationship with forget Shuri, I think is her name.
Shuri, Shuri.
Yeah. They're the ones. Yeah, they're the ones that are like have the connection.
Yeah.
I thought it was weird, but
yeah, it's all weird, but I think it's a good spot to wrap it up right here. I'm gonna get some dinner after this, and you know, and stuff like that. But I do appreciate you guys coming on, and I do appreciate you guys supporting the channel and everything. This is always great conversation. Like I said, I'm gonna try to do this a little bit more. I know, like with like my move here and everything, it's been a little crazy. And weekends have been pretty crazy, but I want to do this a little more. And I thought, you know, tonight was a good night to do it with the Comic-Con and everything, and with the end of July, and talking about the movies of July. Pretty crazy. We got one more. I'm still counting Naked Gun as a July blockbuster. That's gonna be the official. That's the official. blockbuster ending, summer blockbuster ending right there next week.
And before we wrap it up, just one thing about Naked Gun. I will say this. I do like the idea, like in the trailers, that the characters in this Naked Gun are like the next generation from the characters from the original movies.
Yeah,
and there's that sequence of like where they are all essentially. I get it's a Catholic joke, but they're put on the but it's like they're all essentially praying to their previous their previous guys, like
fathers.
like Liam Neeson praying to Leslie Nielsen, and then the other guy, like he's looking at O.J. Simpson, and he's like, really.
Nope. He shakes his head.
I'm not.
Every time I saw that in the movie theater, that got a laugh. The whole movie theater laughed, and it's like, that's what parody movies do. You have to do that. You have to inject that realism into it, and I think that joke was like perfectly executed. I worry that it might be a little too over the top with certain things. From what I've seen, I'm like, oh, that's kind of dumb. But then you have like. There's like the trailer where Liam Neeson like tells Pamela Anderson where he goes, yeah, take a chair. And then she literally grabs a chair and walks out with it as it, because he was meaning like take a seat, and sit down. But she literally like walks out with a chair. I'm like, that's the dumb kind of humor that I love. I love where it's like, and you're taking the saying literally, and then you're making a parody joke out of it. I love it when parodies would do that. Like, Shirley, you can't be seriously. Yes, I am. I'm always serious. Don't call me Shirley, stuff like that.
Airplane. Because again, you were saying like, sometimes it may like the jokes may be like kind of too over the top. Well, again, it's David Zucker. I mean, just look at Airplane, and a lot of the jokes are great. Like, Don't Call Me Shirley, and a lot of the jokes are just really overstay their welcome, like that. I just want you to know, good luck. We're counting on you. And it's like you can only say that so many times before the audience screams, "We get it!"
Yeah, but I think that's what they're trying to go for. But but anyways, thank you guys for joining tonight. This was always fun, good discussion. Thank you, Taladia. Thank you, Caleb. Thank you, Eric. If you guys have anything to promote, Taladia, what do you? If you got anything to promote your channel?
Yeah, I have got spoiler stream talking about Superman coming up very, very soon, and I'll be having Luke Bug, the Geek of Steel, and a few other guests coming on the channel. That is planned. I'm also going to be doing some Gamescom and also Peacemaker reactions coming soon as well. So
awesome! I'll check your channel out.
Yeah, check his channel out. Yeah, man. Nice. If you're bringing on guests, man, hit me up. I'll show up on your channel. Yeah.
I was a bit nervous to ask you that. That's
no, dude. By all means, man. I'm all for it. I love coming on other people's channels and stuff like that. So yeah, hit me up.
Thank you for having me, Dave, on here.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you, Caleb, for joining. I know, you're new to the panel, and I love that. I love it.
I am new. When I first saw you, watched your videos, it was years ago. But I worked at a very hard job for like 2 years, so I just didn't have time for anything. But then I came back, and
No, I appreciate the support, really do. And then Eric, what do you got besides a peach shake?
Without the peach milkshake. Yeah. Well, like I said, I've been getting like closer and closer to setting up, my own, show.
I like your setup already. You got some good.
Thank you.
Things right there. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I've even got like a coat rack with the hats and the coat and the clock and stuff.
You got a whole thing going on here. Are you going to be wearing like a suit and a hat? Are you going to be looking like?
Yeah, that's incredible. I like that aesthetic. Yeah, you got going on.
Yeah, absolutely. Fortunately, I got like an air conditioner right behind. Fortunately, I've got an air conditioner right behind me. So even though I'm wearing a full suit in Florida, it won't be too bad.
Yeah.
If you need a guest star in your channel, I'm down. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Like I said, and like you were saying, I would love to like regularly bring in guests to be like my co-host for the week, for the night, and I'll be you, it'll be like you, Dave, if you ever want to, like anyone, absolutely.
Hit me up, guys. Yeah, don't be afraid to hit me up. I'm down to come on. Like I said, my schedule is a little crazy at times, but we'll make time. I mean, Especially,
All right.
you guys have been, supporters of the channel, and I love it. And this venture has been pretty crazy for the last few years and everything. So, no, I'm totally down. Like, if you guys, you guys have channels, I want to support them. Let's amplify it. I love all that shit. So,
I mean, I thought for a long time that I would love to do something like how you do with Scott, the DC Fanimated stream. I'd love to do something like that, like watching like certain things, like in a lineup or whatever.
Yeah, no,
absolutely.
It's great. I mean, when I came up with I got inspired by BVS by the minute, Stephen Colbert. When I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. That's a cool concept. And then I was like, well, what if we? I was like, and I was literally watching an episode of Batman the Animated Series. And I went, well, what if we review episode by episode of this? And then I knew exactly who I would be my co-host. I was like, Scott, and I hit him up, and his literal response was, fuck yeah. And I went, okay, we're doing this. And now it turned into, okay, well, let's talk about Superman. Let's talk about the whole fucking thing then. So that's what's so great about when you have ideas, you never know where they can actually go. And, and that's what's been fun. And when it comes to DC Fanimated, it's one of those where I love it because I just have to watch an episode and nerd out about an episode. Sometimes when it comes to juggling news and stuff, it can be a little crazy. Like, what am I going to talk about? What specific points? What this and that? It's still fun to talk about all the news and stuff like that. But that's what I love about DC Fanimated. It's just me and him talking about one specific thing. And, like I said, you never know where a concept can go. And like I said, your concept, what you have, that's a unique concept to have.
Absolutely.
And I really like that. Because I like that noir type, setting that you're trying to portray right there. And like I said, you're not trying to be the normal, like, hey, let me just prop a camera up and say something.
Exactly.
You want to have a theme, to go with it. And that's really cool. Yeah,
that's the thing, because like as people were saying, like everybody in our generation has a podcast. It's almost like a rite of passage that you've got to have a podcast at some point. But they're all exactly the same thing. Well, why would I want to watch your channel as opposed to anyone else's? There's got to be something unique.
There's got to be something unique, and I think you guys bring some uniqueness to things. But like I said, if you guys want me as a guest on anything, hit me up. I'm down, man. Totally down. Yeah, but thank you guys, and thank you everybody who is watching. And like I said, I wasn't expecting anything to be too crazy when it came to that panel tonight. And of course, there's more things that are happening in Comic-Con, but nothing like too crazy. But there'll be stuff. I'll talk more about it on, of course, Monday's show when it comes to all that. But thank you everybody who watched. Thank you Taladia Plays. Thank you Caleb. Thank you Eric. And yes, guys, we will talk to you. I'm trying to find my little outro here. Jeez, StreamYard's being a little wonky right now. All right. Anyways, guys, we love you, and we will talk to you later.